In the video 10 New Year's resolutions for peak performers, I committed to this. So in 2022, I really want to read one book per month, challenge myself to actually get through the book and read it from end to end. And I think it's a really great idea to invest in 2022. If you want to have some ideas about books, I think this is actually a really great idea for me to do a video about books. And maybe I'm even going to do videos about the book that I'm reading every month to hold myself accountable. Let's do that. I think that's a great idea. So I will commit myself to reading a book a month and to actually record a video about the book and what I'm learning for you, because I think this could be a really good accountability and commitment for me to actually stick to my goal. So I am very, very excited to sit down with you today and report on two things. Number one, yes, I completed my first book from the beginning to the end in January 2022. And number two, I'm obviously sitting down today to record a video for you on the first book review of the first book that I read. And the first book that I read in 2022 is the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. And I'm honestly super, super excited that I read this book, because obviously which better book to read in 2022 than a book on how to form better habits. And I've also gotten a lot of recommendations from people about this book. Podcast guests, friends, colleagues, everyone has been talking about this book. So I was really, really curious to dive deeper into the subject. And I'm really excited to share with you today a couple of insights about the things that I learned from Atomic Habits. So I would say, let's get started. Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Julia Arndt, and I'm a peak performance coach and stress management trainer. And I'm really excited to share with you the first book review on James Clear's Atomic Habits. Before we jump into the main takeaways that I had from this book, I want to share with you just a general overview and a general impression of the book. First of all, I really enjoyed reading this book. It is a really fantastic book. It's no wonder that there's over 3 million copies sold. And it is a super easy read. I really enjoyed the structure of the book. The structure, honestly, of the book is absolutely incredible. It is really, really well structured. It has a lot of different chapters, and it has 4 main strategies that he's sharing with you about how to build habits. And every single chapter has a summary at the end with 3 to 5 or maybe even 7 takeaways of the main things that he's trying to teach you. And I found this really, really helpful, because I think sometimes self-help books can be pretty sciencey and pretty heady. And so having this kind of structure was honestly super helpful, because at any point in time, you can go back and just read those main 3 to 5 to 7 sentences and get a reminder of the important things, maybe if you have a dip in building your habit. He also has a super powerful table overview of the 4 main strategies that he's teaching and sub-strategies for these specific strategies. And so again, super, super helpful to have just kind of this general overview in order to make sure that you're retaining the most important information of the book. I really enjoyed it. He is sharing a lot of cool definitions. He's sharing some really cool stories about himself, about how he has been building his own habits, but also obviously from other people he's talked to, from scientists, from popular teams, sport athletes. And so it's been really, really powerful to read the book and to have really great reminders of how powerful it is to build these habits. I can totally geek out and nerd out with habits, and it was a really powerful reminder for me of how to master different skills in your life. And so I've been honestly feeling pretty motivated and inspired after this book, and a lot of the small different things that he's been mentioning in the book have been really sticking with me. So over the last week, since I finished the book, I've been really thinking about different things that he's been saying in order to stay motivated and on track with my own habits. So without further ado, I would say let's jump into my main takeaways from the book. Number 1, a habit is a behavior that, when repeated often enough, becomes automatic. James Clear talks about how powerful it is to make teeny tiny small changes in your life every single day. He says that if you're making only a 1% change every single day, it compounds to 37% over a year. What a powerful reminder. I've actually heard this number before, but I thought it was so powerful to hear that again and to read that again, because when we are making these small, tiny decisions every single day, it becomes actually super powerful. And it was a really powerful reminder for me, because oftentimes we want to make so many different changes in our lives and we want to make it happen from today to tomorrow. And sometimes that can work for a week or two, but let's be honest, it is really hard to stick to a lot of new habits and routines immediately, right from the get-go. So it is so much more powerful to take one habit that you want to form and to make a small change in the good decision every single day. And one of the quotes that I want to share in that regard that really resonated with me is the following: "You should be far more concerned with your current trajectory than with your current results." So yeah, it is really more about the future decisions that you're making every single day than where you are at today. So this is a powerful reminder that even if today you are not where you want to be, it doesn't really matter, because every single day you have the power to make a new tiny decision that will bring you closer to maybe a new habit or a goal that you have in your mind. So that was the first main takeaway from the book. The second one is that success doesn't come overnight. I think we all kind of know it, but then at the same time, we very quickly jump to that conclusion. We are looking at famous YouTubers, we are looking at Instagrammers, we are looking at business people that have built really powerful businesses, really successful businesses, and we just think, wow, they just had an overnight success, right? But it's oftentimes, I would say in 99.9% of the cases, it's not the case that people had overnight success. When you're looking back, I do this all the time. I'm going to different YouTubers and their channels and I'm looking at the first video they ever posted. And oftentimes those videos are 5 or 7 years old, which means that they have been really repeatedly creating content every single week in order to build the success that they're having today and that they're experiencing today. And so overnight success is not a thing. Go away from that belief and just start building. One of the things that has always resonated with me is that time goes by anyway. So how are you going to choose that time? What kind of decisions are you making and where are you spending your time today in order to build for the future? So really powerful and really cool reminder that overnight success doesn't exist. Takeaway number 3 is that building habits requires a new mindset as well. Because when we are building habits, it actually builds freedom. And I really loved that shift in perspective from sometimes when we are building habits, it might seem like we are forcing ourselves into this framework that we are not really enjoying, to habit building is something super powerful and something that builds freedom, creates freedom, because it helps us to make important decisions that are helping us to be more free, more automatically, right? And so then we are freeing up time to do something else than, for example, making smart decisions about eating healthy or exercising regularly or setting specific priorities every single day in order to stay on track with the things that we're doing at work. And so habits build freedom. A really powerful takeaway and something that I hadn't really thought about like that before. The next takeaway that I want to share with you and that deeply resonated with me was about falling in love with boredom. Yes, of all the things, but I think that was super powerful, because I think we are all experiencing boredom at some point in our life, but we don't really like to admit it. But let's be honest, boredom actually differentiates the amateurs from the professionals, and it helps you to become a master at whatever you're doing. So I believe that we are all experiencing boredom at some point in building a specific skill. No matter if it is working out or making healthy food choices, right? It can sometimes be pretty boring to always choose maybe the same healthy things, and we have to reinvent ourselves in order to keep it interesting and in order to make it even better, right? Or when you're building a business, when you're building your YouTube channel, for example, it might sometimes feel really boring to sit down again every single week and to build a topic and the content and sitting down and all of these different things, right? But when we are building these different processes, first of all, when we are experiencing boredom, it means that we have reached a certain level of proficiency and that we are now capable to do a few different things pretty automatic, and we can then make the quality so much better. And that was such a powerful reminder for me, because I think obviously when we are experiencing boredom, that's sometimes a really negative feeling, right? A not so good feeling. Like when I'm feeling bored, well, meh, right? I don't really want to do this anymore. But to see again boredom from a different perspective and have this mindset shift. So yeah, so I think that was really my most important takeaway, that falling in love with boredom is actually a super important skill when building new habits. And the final takeaway that I want to share with you today from the book Atomic Habits is to keep track and log your progress. This is something obviously again that I really love to do. You can tell from my videos that I love to do daily recaps and weekly recaps and monthly recaps and do a lot of journaling in order to really track my progress and to make sure that I'm sticking not only to the things that I'm setting out to do, but then also to review it and look at what worked well, what didn't go so well, what maybe felt good, what didn't feel so good. And you know, he really talks about how powerful it is to keep track of our progress and how inspirational and motivational it can be to track the right things and make sure that we are just staying true to ourselves and again making progress in the right areas. It is really important to challenge yourself. It is really important to keep track of your progress, because it really helps you to just stick to your rules when it gets boring. Like sometimes when I'm kind of discouraged, I'm scrolling through my Instagram account or I'm scrolling through my YouTube channel videos in order to see how much I have already achieved by sticking to that goal of recording one video every single week. It's really powerful, and that progress re-inspires me every single time to keep on going. So yeah, so really great book. Really highly encourage you to read it if you want to know more about how to build habits and how to make habits become more automatic and how to really master skills. And I'm super excited to do the next review at the end of February 2022. If you have a book that you really enjoyed reading and you think, hey Julia, you should really read this book, leave me a comment down below and let me know which book I should read in one of the months here in the year 2022. I look forward to hearing from you, and I would say until then, take care of yourself, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.